Hi, I'm Monique Hayward, and welcome back to my video series on Get Your Hustle On. Today, we're going to be talking about communication, your storytelling. In the episode where I covered personal brand, or cachet, I noted how your personal brand really is the currency that you use to trade for influence with your target audience. If you think about personal brand being that currency, then the story that you tell is what facilitates the exchange between you and your audience. People ask me all the time, well, Monique, how do I actually tell my story? And I tell you that you have to think about three things. What is it that you have to say? Who cares? And what difference does it make that you're the person who's telling the story? One expert in the industry who I follow is a man named Peter Guber, who wrote a book called Tell to Win. And he talks about telling purposeful stories in business, which essentially boils down to this. When we're telling stories in our everyday life, you don't necessarily have to have a purpose. You could be telling someone about a movie you saw or a new song that you heard. But when you're in a business setting, you really are trying to move people to action. And so you want to be purposeful in your storytelling as you are thinking about how you are engaging with your influencers and your stakeholders. There's one principle that I want you to take away as a good storyteller, and that is, it is not about you, it is about the audience. You need to place yourself in the audience shoes. That's how you stimulate affinity. That's how you build bridges to the topics and the concerns and the issues that they care about. The other thing that you want to do is to ensure that you know this audience really well and the action that you want them to take. Just telling a story for no reason whatsoever is not going to help anyone. So what is it that your storytelling is going to do to move someone to some action? And then finally, make personal and emotional connections. We're all human beings, and that's how we relate to each other. Oftentimes, when we're thinking about our storytelling, we get tripped up on what is it that we really want to say. And I say this, we tell stories all the time, and we are predisposed to hearing the same types of stories over and over and over again. There's a reason why multiple movie franchises come out with sequels, and music from the 1980s and 90s never seems to go away. That's because we really like to hear those same themes throughout our lives. It's the same when you're telling a story in business. When you think about it, you have different frames, you have different themes that you can put your experience, your background, your expertise, your knowledge into in order to create those bridges that I was describing before about how you can tell your story and make an impact and bring your audience to action. So a couple of examples. Everybody has a hero saves the day story. Your project is going down and somebody needs to come in and figure out what to do to rescue it. That person is you put on the cape, you swoop in and save the day. Another great example of a story that you can use to describe your experience and your background is a time when you have overcome obstacles. All of us have had challenges in our career where we have had to clear roadblocks or overcome difficulties and challenges that get in the way of our goals and our objectives that we're trying to achieve. In my case, as a marketing director, one of my biggest challenges tends to be budget cuts that come mid-quarter. And I still have to figure out how I'm going to make and meet all of my commitments when I've already planned all of my programs, when I've already figured out how I'm going to deliver. Now I need to do that with fewer dollars. And that's a quick overview of how to tell a great story about your experience as you're getting your hustle on. Thank you so much for joining me.